worry that if Britain is seen to get a deal that works for Britain, that actually makes the British economy successful, that it will encourage others in Europe to follow Britain to the exit door? You're deeply insecure about the fragility and vulnerability of the European Union.
The problem of the future of the European Union is not so much linked to the Brexit negotiation. The problem of the future of the European Union is linked to the courage and the willingness of the European leaders for the moment to go forward, like I described in the book, with the unity and the integration of the European Union, creating a defense community, creating an economic governance for the single currency, creating an external border and coast guard. So the future of the European Union is depending on that, and not so much, I think, on...
You know, Mr. Verhofstadt, you've been writing books, with all due respect, about the need for a federal Europe for an awful long time. You wrote The United States of Europe in 2006.
As Prime Minister.
You wrote another book in 2009 called How Europe can save the world emerging from crisis. You know, you have written these books which now look like museum pieces. Europe's moved on. Europe's politicians are no longer talking about union and federation.
No, it is the opposite what is happening. You are laughing a little bit with my books, but at the same time, I was the one who said we need a banking union before we can overcome the financial crisis. In the meanwhile, you agree that the banking union is now in place.
How Europe can save the world was your title in 2009. Frankly, Europe has done nothing to save the world in the last 7 years.
We didn't have the institutions on the European level that was necessary. I already explained to you, we are still a loose confederation of nation states based on the unanimity rule in which we act always too little too late. And the financial crisis, I have described it in the book, is a typical example of that. And I said we need a banking union. Today we have a banking union. I can tell you, they have laughed with me as Prime Minister when I proposed a number of initiatives on the defense union. Today, these initiatives, European headquarters, for example, are on the table.
When you talk like this, Mr. Verhofstadt, you play into the hands of people like Nigel Farage, one of the most important leaders of the Leave campaign in the UK, when he says you are a dangerous fanatic, and he says you have long been anti-British.
That's a completely nonsense. You know, I'm racing with an old car. It's a 1954 right-hand drive Aston Martin. How can you be more British than that?
Well, I tell you, I look at your own words and I wonder about your attitude to Britain. You said in 2016, according to Politico, the website, quote, politically, the UK is already on its way to becoming an adversary rather than a trusted partner of the EU.
Certainly with that is what Mr. Farage is exactly standing for.